Welcome to Just in Time series with Vishwadharma. In this podcast, I am going to talk about cyber psychology. Well, this is not exactly a podcast. You can look at the screen as I will be presenting, or rather, I will be screen sharing some of the important aspects of cyber psychology. I have been practicing psychology for last 15 years and cyber psychology for last 5 years. Recently, 6 months ago, I have completed a certification in cyber psychology practitioner certification course. I will talk about the certification course, and basically the purpose of this video is to make people aware about the cyber psychology and the certification that I have gone through. And I am not representing any institution, I am not representing any particular training center. No, this is purely with the intention of creating an awareness about cyber psychology, which is very important in this digital age. So, of course, people whoever is watching this video, they can learn lot of in details the in-depth information about cyber psychology. There are plenty of books and there are plenty of videos available from various authors, and I will also share some of the best content that I have seen on this topic, and some of the really profounding work done by some professors. I will talk about that. So the approach of this particular session, it's all about what is cyber psychology, why do we need it, and how cyber psychology helps in a day-to-day life as well as in a professional life, and where to apply, right, the application. So what, where, when, how, so all these kind of basic nuances I will talk about it. So this is an educational video, purely meant for education and social awareness purpose only. So now let us just look at the definition of cyber psychology, right? I am typing cyber psychology here in search engine. So look at the definition. Cyber psychology, of course there are, you can look at any of these definitions, but what it appears here, let me just explain, and more or less all the definitions point to the same, crux of the content. Cyber psychology is the field of study pertaining to the way people interact through computers or digital devices and the emotional effects that usage has on the brain. So this is the most important point to understand. Cyber psychology is the field of study pertaining to the way people interact through computers or digital devices and the emotional effects that usage has on the brain, right? Cyber psychology is also referred to as internet psychology or web psychology. So let's look at the Wikipedia definition here that's appearing. Cyber psychology is a scientific interdisciplinary domain that focuses on the psychological phenomenon. So let me click here and cyber psychology is a study of the human mind and behavior and how the culture of technology, specifically virtual reality, the internet, cell phones and social media affect them. Mainstream research studies focus on the effect of the internet and cyberspace on the psychology of individuals and groups. There are some hot topics like online identity, online relationships, personality types and cyberspace, transference to computers, addiction to computers and internet, regressive behavior in cyberspace, online gender switching, which must research in the while much research in this field is based around internet usage. Cyber psychology also includes the study of the psychological ramifications of cyborgs and AI and virtual reality. Cybersecurity is within cyber psychology because it impacts the way the people live on a daily basis. This is the most important topic. Cyber security is within cyber psychology because it impacts the way that people live in a daily basis. So I'm sure cyber security, this word you might have heard about it by now, right? This is very much familiar. You can see in the newspapers, media, and even organizations, institutions, even the course curriculum in educational universities, right, academic fields, and even the professional domains that you could have heard about cybersecurity. You could heard about cybersecurity. So now, cyber psychology, the definition is clear now, right? What is cyber psychology? It's basically understanding the human interactions with the digital technology. So it's not just about understanding how humans are interacting with the digital devices and the gadgets, but as a result of that, what is happening and can we predict the behaviors? See, let me explain with some examples, right? All of us behave differently at different situations and even different places. A person behave differently when that person, right, he or she, when that person is at a school, or at office, or at a park, children's park, right, or at a movie theater, or at a movie theater, right, or a shopping mall, or at temples or meditation centers and all, right? The behavior is not same across all these various different platforms. It varies. The behavior clearly varies from platform to platform, from each place, right, to each. It varies. Now, why does it vary? Why can't the person be same at all places at all times? That's not possible, right? Because human mind, it's filled with lot of thoughts, accumulation of thoughts, constant absorption of information, what they perceive, what we see, what we perceive, what we touch, what we feel, what we read, what we think, how we talk to others, communication. So it's an amalgamation, it's an aggregation of all the different sources of information that exist in a real world. So now, as a result of absorbing all this content, what happens exactly in human brain, and are we conscious about it? Of course we do not know what happens inside our brain, right, and what kind of chemical reactions that takes place unless we study and unless we get to know about it. It's not something that is known to everybody, right? But now, as a result of that, what is the impact on society? That's important. So how many times that you might have had a different kind of mood swings when you were watching different type of genre of movies, right? A movie, and nowadays the entertainment is filled with a lot of violence, right? And how come violence has become an entertainment? Think about it. Most of the entertainment content that we see online, right, that's filled with a lot of violent actions, correct? So how come still people enjoy that violence? They know that it's violence, they are watching violence, and lot of content, majority of the content I'm talking about, majority of the entertainment content is fueled with violent topics and violent content, violence based content. Of course this is to attract people, but how come the violence is attracting a lot of audience? Why people are watching the violence? Do they really consciously know that they are watching violence and it's just an entertainment purpose? If so, why do they get excited when they look at any emotional scenes? Forget about violence for a second. When they look at any emotional scenes in a movie, right? So why do they get tears? You might have noticed it. right? Not just even the emotional scenes. Look at the television serials, right? The family members, around family members, when while they're watching the serials, how many times, right, they immersed themselves into the scene, and they repeat certain dialogues, and then they reciprocate, they react and respond, as if they're actually living with the characters. Similarly, even the children, as soon as they watch a film, and the children, after watching a film, right, the children starts imitating all those actions, right? So these are all the behavioral aspects, the output of the behavioral aspects. Now, can we say that the audience are very conscious when they are watching these violence, and it does no harm? Can we say that because they are very conscious and they know that's the entertainment and there is no harm? If they are really conscious, why do they laugh? Why do they cry? Why do they feel surprise? And meaning, why their facial expressions and their behavior gets changed depends on the scene that's being played on screen. If they are conscious, then they should maintain the same expressions. If they are conscious, they should not be affected with the particular scene that they watch. So even though they know that it's they're watching a movie, but there is a high speed of volatility. There is a very high speed of transmission that's happening between the mind and the object. Constant propagation of the information exchange that's happening. The visual absorption that's happening at a very high speed rate, and the moment the body try to alert the mind that, hey, this is just a movie, just a video, just an entertainment, don't get erupt like a volcano, right, of emotions. So don't just get into the emotional drama, right? So even though the body indicates and alerts, but still we sometimes unknowingly we go in deep of these emotions, and then suddenly we come out, then suddenly again unknowingly we get into the same thing. Happens when you are doing a prayer also, right? While you are doing a prayer, first few seconds your concentration levels are very high, and you will focus only on your the objective of the prayer and the God that you believe in, right? And after few seconds, then the thoughts, somewhere it goes again, you will forcefully pull back to the prayer content, right? So which means it's a natural phenomenon. It's a natural phenomenon that human mind constantly wanders. Human mind it's like a radar, right? Human minds constantly screen for information, and it keeps absorbing through the senses, right? The sensory information that is constantly, the propagation happens. Now, I am not going to explain in detail about the clinical side of psychology, or the clinical side of cyberpsychology. Rather, from the social perspective, right, from the social science perspective, I would like to explain. So what is cyberpsychology? You are clear now. And why is it important? Why is it important? Because in knowing this cyberpsychology, studying cyberpsychology explicitly and exclusively helps us to be even more conscious. We know that it's quite difficult, but still, when we do the practice, at least it helps us. This one more subject it helps you to be little more conscious, right? Being conscious at all times, while you are at a bank, while you are making any transaction in a public Wi-Fi, while you are going on in a street, very deeply concentrated at your mobile screen, right? Or while you are traveling, and while you may be traveling but you are talking parallelly, right? The multitasking, you may be driving a car, but then you are in a deep conversation with somebody, right? So multitasking is becoming very habitual, and these days I have noticed, of course you might have noticed also, even the two-wheeler, riders, the people who are riding the two-wheelers, they are talking over a mobile phone while riding the bike, right? So just an year ago or a couple of years ago, I have noticed it, 1 out of 10 on road, this kind of scenario. But today I can see 4 out of 10 people, doing the multitasking while they are riding the bike, endangering not just their life and you know the pedestrian, people whoever is walking, and they are putting others' life at a great risk. So now can you tell me, are they conscious while doing that? Are they conscious that yes, I am talking over phone and I am riding? They may be conscious, but what is the percentage of conscious levels? What is the percentage? Having 5% consciousness is not going to be helpful. But interestingly, fortunately, we can still do multitasking with just 5 or 10% of the concentration levels. Subconsciously you can do many things. You are doing many things subconsciously, right? While you are listening to this video, you may be constantly thinking about what next, how long this video is all about, right? Who is this person speaking, right? All these things. Or you may be looking at other screen, or maybe reading book, or maybe you are doing multitasking, right? So that's natural. So what I'm trying to explain here is, it is quite natural for human mind to be volatile, and training that and making the human brain to calm down and slow down is what going to be very helpful. Learning to slow down is most important skill in these days. Learning to slow down, right? And it looks like an irony when we are the other side, when we expect faster internet, high speed internet, high speed transportation, high speed traveling, right? And high speed data transmission, file transfers, and high speed of all these things. But when it comes to the bigger aspects of life, do you really want to live very fast life and then die, leave this world, something like that? Or do you want to live a complete life peacefully and slowly, enjoying the moments, creating the beautiful moments, designing your own destiny, designing your future with your planned and disciplined way of actions? Now there are certain theory, there are certain people, there are some people, they think that okay, while life is just it's a one time event, and what is the quotation they use? They use something like, okay, life is an ice cream, eat it before it melts, and these kind of irrational quotations they come up with. But see, it's not about the individuals who are expressing this kind of irrational quotes. It is about the people who are depending on them, right? The dependents, the family members. You may think that okay, it's my life and I can do whatever, and I can live life whichever way I wish for. But if something happens, right, look at the impact on your family members, look at the impact around you in your absence, how their life is going to be. That's the most important. So we living is not just for ourselves, it's for the community. When I say community, the right from the family members, right to the relatives and close friends, and then colleagues or neighbors, whatever, right? So it's a huge circle. So that's the level of consciousness that we should be promoting. For that, understanding psychology, being conscious at all times is very, very important. So now we covered what is cyber psychology. I also explained why do we need it. The importance of cyber psychology is really very, very, very important and crucial for this digital age and in the coming ages, right? So from
from the institutional perspective, right, from the organization's perspective, having cyber psychology department, having cyber psychology experts, having cyber psychology practitioners in your organization, that can help in terms of addressing the malicious insider attacks, right? So it's called insider attacks, right? So malicious insiders, we call it as in cybersecurity terminology. Yeah, so there are methods of how do we capture the behaviors of the people. I mean the people working for your organization in such a way that you can predict proactively. You can predict the effect of their behavior on the system. There are methods, there are prediction models. All this is available. Well, I'll talk about all these things, for the institutional purpose and the organizational things. That's something separate topic. But coming back to the social science perspective, from the social perspective, from the society perspective, so we talked about what is cybersecurity, and I talked about what is why it is required, right? The importance of cybersecurity. Now, what are the topmost books available, right? The material available, right? So one name I would like to introduce here. Please look at the screen now. Here it is, right? I typed it already. So Professor John Schuler, cyber psychology. So I hope I am pronouncing his name correctly. John or Schuler, right? So he is a professor. The site has been reported, and so that's okay. So you can just click on this add to the exception. So we don't know why it's classified like that, but that's fine. So that some of the website that it happened. So the collected works of John Schuler, PhD, right? So this site and its documents are designed for viewing on computers and laptops. Some website link may no longer work, right? So look at this. There are a lot of books contributed by him, written by him. Psychology of the Digital Age, The Birth of Cyber Psychology, right? So look at the material, look at the PDF files. It's all available, right? Openly available in his website. So I found it very profound and useful. So I would like to create an awareness about all the work done by Professor John Schuler, right? So lot of content is available, so please go through and you will definitely find it very interesting, right? So I've downloaded some material actually from this book. It's down, you can download it. It's publicly available. That's why I'm showing it, right? You can just type this name and it's publicly available. It's in his website. Of course, you have to give the credit whenever you are using the material or when you are talking. That's the moral and ethical point of view, right? So please feel free to leverage all this, but you have to give the proper credit to the author. For that matter, for anybody, right? Whichever material that you are using, obviously you have to give a credit to the respective author. Okay, now that's about the material part. This itself, see, once you start going in detail about all this, that will take you to the further links and further references, further citations and all, right? So that's why I'm giving only one strong reference here, so that this particular material can lead you to multiple different sources of information that may be available in the internet. Right now, what are the certifications available? Regarding the certifications, so cyber psychology, ISA, see, this is the website that I am talking about, right? Well, I am not trying to advertise or promote anything here. This is just only for your awareness. It's purely up to you to decide whether you want to pursue this or not. Because I have done the course and I have completed it, so I found it informative. So definitely this is something that you can look for. The Isaac certification cybersecurity is a 16 hours course, 6 sessions. So right? I think it's still valid. So promotional price will be valid 18th September. So this is their website. And you can see a lot of other benefits also, like you can be part of a COP Connect, and basically it is to make sure that we are creating a secure and safe and peaceful environment for all of us. We are building our nation basically. So we have to take the responsibility of creating a very good society. So this may be helpful for you. So what are the course contents in this certificate course, right? You can look at all these details here: evolution of society, information age, communication in families, so generation science, and so Professor Rakesh is the instructor for this course. So he teaches with plenty of real world, real life examples, best of the best examples based on his experience. He has vast experience in this field. So he talks about lot of content. Similarly, Ms. Ritu, certified coordinator, she takes care of all these courses and organizes all this and supporting the cyberpsychology educational content certification course here, apart from her other activities. So there are testimonials given and so on, right? So this is a certification course. Again, as a disclaimer, I would like to emphasize again, I am not promoting anything here. It is just only for your awareness, for those who are interested. See, some of you may be already in a field of psychology. Some of you may be students of psychology, right? You may be doing bachelor's in psychology or master's in psychology, but you may be worried that, oh my god, I am doing psychology course, but the world is moving, rather the world is behind artificial intelligence and digitalization, cloud computing, and all the computer science related topics. Computer science is ruling the world. So how can I venture into this kind of, if you are having this kind of thoughts, this is going to be very helpful, because this becomes as a kind of, this knowledge is an entry gate for you to enter inside cyber security domain. And I am sure in future organizations may have cyber psychology department, because cyber psychology is a most proactive and preventative and predictable way of managing the business, right? It's a proactive and predictable way of managing the business rather than the reactive one. Assume that if there is a cyber security attack, then after an attack happens, the aftermath, right? The after an attack happens, whatever you do, it is 100% reactive. But can you predict the behavior? Can we predict the behavior of ourselves? And also, if everybody is conscious about their own behaviors, right? That's the ultimate security, right? The ultimate security is to be conscious at all the times and to be peaceful at all the times, to be contented with what we have morally and ethically. Unfortunately, right, any of the cyber attacks, cyber crimes that triggers due to the financial desperation as a result of there are several factors why the attacks happen, several factors, but ultimately one and only root cause here is survival, right? It's a survival. So is survival the only root cause? Of course not, because there are hackers that they do it just as a hobby, right? Just an experiment, just for fun. Also they can create havoc in the systems, right? And why do they do that? Because their mind and the body and the actions are out of sync. Their mind, body and actions are totally out of control. That's why keeping our mind in control keeping one's mind in their control is the ultimate most preventative method of securing and creating a peaceful society. For that, yoga helps, and then meditation helps, being mindful, right? So all these things, you can learn when you study the books and some of the certification courses like this. So I hope you found this video interesting and informative. So the purpose is purely for the educational purpose, as I always mention in my other videos in this channel, right? So thank you for your time. I hope this is informative, and cyber psychology is going to be really a game changer in the coming days. Now I gave an example, right? A typical psychology student, how they can enter into the cybersecurity world, IT world, through cyber psychology. There's a possibility. Now somebody who is in a core IT domain, information technology domain, they are into cybersecurity for quite long time, and they want to expertise and experience something proactive, right? See, being in cybersecurity, the person might have handled n number of breaches and attacks and all types of different problems, and the person may be thinking that, don't we have a proactive way of addressing things in a very cost effective manner, right? Cost pressure is there across the industries, right? So would you want to invest significant amount of dollars on products, versus would you want to educate as many people as possible, so that you are eliminating the mindset of hackers, right? You are eliminating the evil thoughts in human beings. Which is the best method? Of course, the first one is important as a tactical solution, because we cannot wait for everybody to change their mindset. We cannot wait for us to change our mindset first of all, right? So tactical solution, you need a robust products, you need a cybersecurity topmost advanced threat intelligence, and all these products you definitely need to have it. But is that the permanent solution? Obviously no. Permanent solution is always nature based, naturally driven solutions. Permanent solution cannot have artificial methods of solving any problem. Permanent solutions are always derived from nature and close to the nature. So controlling and keeping our mind in a disciplined way is the ultimate security in this world. Do you agree? I know there are many thoughts in your mind. Definitely depends on who you are, the profession and all, right? So but fine, I hope this is useful. And one quotation I would like to recollect here before I close this video: your browsing history will tell you what kind of person you are. This is the kind of quotation I got into mind. I always keep this in mind. Your browsing history will tell you what kind of person you are, right? Yes, today you look at somebody's browsing history, and you can find out their behavior, their taste, their mood, their mindset, and their passion, right? So that just one parameter like this, if you inculcate that like this, if you include multiple parameters, you can actually create a predictable cyber psychology product as well, right? So I wrote a white paper so that you can probably I will talk about that in future. So thank you for your time. I hope it is informative. Have a great day.